Hello friends, this is Deepa Shah from Think Quotient. Today we are going to learn about list comprehension, exception handling and what are modules. Okay, so starting with list comprehension. Now list comprehension is another way of creating a list. So if I want to create a list, okay, so we are talking about a topic called list comprehension. Okay, now what is list comprehension? It is another way to create a list. So how we write over here is, suppose I write LST is equal to, in square bracket over here we are going to write is the expression, okay, expression, and for each item in the iterable type of object. So this is a syntax over here. So what does this mean is, see, if I just put a hash and just put it comment, means, see, if I write over here LST is equal to, and if I write over here I for I in item in what iterable type. Now I can write over here list, I can write over here range, okay, or I can write a tuple also. So I'll just write over here range, and I'll write over here for 1 2, suppose I write 10. So what will happen over here is, see, if you see, this is in square bracket over here, okay, so this for loop will iterate, okay, and the for loop, so the value of I will be now 1 2. So when we say range of 1 to 10, it will start with 1 and finish up by 9. So when we say 10, it will exclude 10, that is, it's exclusive always, so it will exclude 10, so till 9 it will go. So each time whatever is the value of I, this expression whatever we write, this is going to be the part of list over here. So if we see now, if I just hit over here shift enter and just we check the list over here, so it is 1 2 3 4 5, so all the 9 elements have, and it has created a list. Now instead of writing like this, if I want, so this is a way to create a list, okay, so if I want, I can also write over here, suppose I want to create squares of first 9 numbers, so I can write over here I into I. So what we can see over here is, now this list will contain all the squares. So list comprehension is another effective way of creating a list. So we can have over here, suppose I want to create a list of odd numbers. So one way is, or we can say is, I want to create a list of squares of odd numbers. So what I can write over here is I into I, that is the expression which will be added into the list, okay, for I in range, okay, range, and after that we are going to specify a condition over here. So if I mod 2 is not equal to 0. So what we are trying to say over here is, if for every value in this range, if this condition is true, then this expression will get evaluated and this value will be added into the list over here. So if we run this, now it's giving me error over here. Why? Because I have just missed out over here, so I need to specify 1 10, okay, and now we will run this. So if we check the list now, we will see we have got square of all the odd numbers. So basically list comprehension is another effective way of creating a list, okay. Now suppose I want over here is, if it is an even number, I want to keep it, suppose we have a list over here, L1 is there, some list we have some elements over here, 43 56 78 and suppose 90 over here. Now what I want to do over here is, if it's an even number, I will keep it as it is in the list, and if it's an odd number, I will increment it by 1, something like that, some logic. So what we can do over here is, so I can write over here is LST is equal to, suppose I will write over here for, now what I told you is, if it is an even number, I want to keep it as it is, and if it is a odd number, so what I want over here is, so I will write over here if, okay, if, and I will check the condition, if x mod 2 is equal to 0 as it is, else x plus 1, and for what we will write over here is I or x in range, not range, the list over here, so L1, okay. So for every element in the list, it will check this condition. If this condition evaluates to true, then X will be added in the list. If this condition evaluates to false, else what we need to do is increment the value of X by 1 and hit it over here. So if we run this and now check the list over here, so 12 is an even number over here. X mod 2 is equal to 0. Sorry, my mistake. So now I wrote 2 by mistake. Okay. So what we can see over here is this is my even number. So as it is we got. When it's an odd number, so we have got over here is what? 44. Similarly over here is what we have got is 56. Because it's an even number. As it is we have got. So wherever only one odd number we had in this list, suppose we have more odd numbers over here. Something like that. And now let's run this. And now let's check over here. So we can see over here is wherever I have a even odd number, it is incrementing by 1. So in list comprehension you can also add a condition like this. So if you want, if this condition is true, this should be added over here this way, or if you want if else, then it will come over here. So if the condition is true, this will be added. If the condition is false, this is the value that will be added. Similarly this can work on anything. Suppose I have a name over here or some string over here. So what we can do over here is, suppose I write L2 is equal to square bracket, and I write over here what? I dot to upper over here. So I am converting it into uppercase for X in, and some name over here is Python. So what will happen over here is one alphabet will get extracted over here from the iterable type, and that type will be converted into what? Uppercase, and added in the list over here. So if I want to create from this Python word a list of over here, list from string, I want to create a list over here. So and I want to convert it into uppercase. So let us hit this and check. So you can apply a function also. So it has created a list from this string called Python. These are the characters, and it has converted. So you can call over here. So whatever is the return value of upper, that will be the part of list over here. Okay. So similarly we can also have dictionary comprehension. Okay, so what is dictionary comprehension? Suppose I write something like that. What I'll write over here is suppose I write over here square bracket, and I write over here is the key colon, and suppose we write over here is suppose what we have over here is, I have a string of what example we'll take over here is, suppose I have I want to do over here is what? Cube, suppose. Okay, suppose I want to do a cube. So what we can do over here is like this. Okay, key, and suppose I write over here cube or whatever square you want to do. Suppose I write over here is this way, dictionary 2, and for key in you can use range function, range, and I write over here is suppose 1 to 5. So what it will do is from 1 to 4 this dictionary. So this, see, if I have made use of curly brackets over here, okay, so curly brackets means I am trying either to create dictionary or set, but this is a dictionary because I have used over here is colon. So this part becomes my key. So for every value in this range, so now first key will become 1. So here we will have 1, and here we will have square of 1, that is 4. So key value pair you will have over here, and it has created a dictionary over here. Okay, so we can also have dict comprehension, we can have list comprehension. Okay, so this is what is we are talking about is list comprehension. So comprehension is another way of creating list, dictionary. You can also have it for tuple. So similarly we can also have for a tuple. Suppose I want to create a tuple using comprehension, so definitely we can have over here round brackets, and we can write over here what? For I for, and I write over here is suppose for what I'll write over here, I in range, and I write over here 1 comma 30, and this is 3. So the step is 3 over here. So it will give me all the multiples of 3. Okay, and basically now what I will do is over here is I'll store it in some variable. let us print T over here. So it is generator type of object over here, so we need to convert it into list basically, or tuple. So this is the way we can do it. Okay, so this is all about your comprehension. So basically what we are doing over here is in list comprehension. For this expression, for every item in the expression, okay, for each, so whatever is a loop you're using over here, for every each element in that iterable type of object, this expression will be evaluated over here, and this value will be a part of your list, or it could be a dictionary, or it could be a set. Okay, so this is the way it will work out over here. Now we will move to the next thing, that is exception handling. Okay, so now what is exception handling? So we have till now, so exception means exception basically means what? Error due to which your program is going to terminate abnormally. Okay, any error, like we have attribute error, we have value error, we have name error, many errors are there, or index error. So whenever this exception will occur, the program is going to stop abnormally over there and there itself. Suppose I have written over here is, suppose S is equal to, and I have written over here is input, and I write over here something, suppose what, enter, suppose I write over here, suppose mobile number, and suppose I am downcasting over here, so I write over here int, and I write over here now the mobile number, and I take it in a variable called MB, and then I am doing some logic over here on the mobile number. Now if I run this and if I enter some string over here, okay, so what we'll have over here is value error. Why value error? Because it was expecting a int over here, but you have entered, so int function will, this int function won't be able to convert this string into which type? Integer type. But if I enter some valid mobile number over, valid mobile number over here, suppose I write 9890081081, some number over here, it's perfectly fine. So exception handling basically means is, at runtime, being a developer, we need to keep in handle all the possible think of what all things can be can make your program crash over here, and you need to handle. So it is, see, you have to think from all perspectives. See, if user will enter some wrong input over here, string type of data, then my program should not get crashed. It should handle it, and accordingly it should again make it re-enter or something like that. So to handle exception, so suppose you try to divide by 0, so 0 division error you will have over here, or if some file is not opening, see, there are many types of exceptions we have, built-in exceptions we have. So to handle exception, what we can do over here is, so we have for exception handling we have is try, we write try colon, and the code which may throw error, code which you feel might throw error, you are going to write over here, which might throw error. Okay, you are going to write over here code which might throw error or give error, we can say give error, you're going to write over here. Okay, and so if there is an error, then you have to write over here what is the logic you want over here. Okay, so we write over here is except. Okay, so except, you can have except. So what is except? Basically it's like a catch block. So whenever there is any error, okay, that error we are handling over here inside the except block. Now writing only except block over here, it is a generalized thing. You can also have a specific error like this except, and you can write over here is value error. Suppose I write over here value error, and then I write over here is print wrong input or something over here, input. If it is right, now if I want to write one more except over here, we can write. So see, if it's a value error, it will come in this except block and execute it. If there is any other exception, leaving value error like index error or attribute error, or suppose name error. Okay, suppose see, if I try to write over here some logic, so what I'll put over here is, so what we'll do over here is, I'll just put a logic over here. Suppose I write over here print A. Now if I try to print a variable which I have not initialized, it is going to give you what over here? Name error. Okay, so if I know prehand, I can write over here name error also. Okay, so if I write over here name error, and then I just print over here, so you will see print and I'll say over here in variable not declared or something. I say over here variable not defined, please define the variable. Suppose I run this logic over here. Okay, so if I run this logic over here, you see it has gone directly over here, because when I say print a, if you say anything, see if I just try and show you over here print a, and if the variable is not defined, it will give you name error over here. So here what happened is, in try block, when the Python interpreter was executing this statement, it saw there is no variable by name a, so it created an exception object over here, and the name of the object was name error. Then as this code is in try block, okay, as this code is in try block, it saw is there any matching catch. So value error, no, this is not the matching catch. Name error, yes, this can handle. So it gave that error object to name error over here, and whatever you have written over here, that got executed. Similarly, if they see, sometimes if it's not sometimes there might be a situation that there may be some other error which I have not thought of also. Okay, so just I say over here print, and I say over here error or something over here like that. And suppose now what we are doing over here is we are taking two inputs, suppose from over here. So suppose I am taking two inputs over here. Now I am declaring the variable, so this way and this way. And suppose I say over here is I take it as a, and I take it as what over here is b. Okay, and I say enter first number, and I say over here is enter second number. Okay, so we are accepting two numbers over here, and then what we'll do is we'll just do addition, and suppose I do division over here. So I say print, and just I say over here is division answer is equal to, okay, and I say over here is comma, and I say a divided by b, or you can have flow this one. Okay, floor division operator also over here, a divided by b. Now if I run this logic, okay, if I run this logic, and suppose I have written some logic over here also down below. Okay, I have written this much logic. Now suppose I run this logic over here, it is asking me the first number. If I enter some string, so whenever you enter some string, it will try to convert it into integer. It won't be able, so it will give you which error over here? Wrong input. This is the output you got over here. So this is the error that has occurred over here. Okay, I rerun now. Suppose I enter two inputs properly over here. Okay, so if I enter, one is this and other is 2, so we got the division answer, that is 6 over here. So the division answer is what over here? 6. Now suppose I rerun over here, and I enter one number as 12 and second number as 0. Now whenever you try to divide a number by 0, it is going to give you 0 division error. But if you see, I have handled value error over here, name error over here, and here I have not written anything. Now this is a generic handler, so leaving these two exception, if any exception occurs over here, so this exception, this except block is going to handle it. So let me run over here, enter over here, sorry, press me enter over here. So it's giving me 0 division error. 1 minute, and print error over here. Why? 1 minute, something happened. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, what mistake I have made is I have not made use of double quotes. Okay, extremely sorry. Yeah. So now if we rerun this again, okay, so if I enter first number as 12, second number as 0, so you can see it has printed error. So, or something like that. Suppose I say something over here is, suppose we try to do what we'll try to do over here. It's a numeric data anyway, we can't do indexing over here. Suppose there is some list over here, okay, some list is there, or we can do is, suppose there is some list 1, 2, 3, and if I try to access over here out any index which is not there, suppose I say print t of what 3. Now we know it's this index is 0, this is 1, and this is what 2. So if I try to go over here, this is actually, if I see, if I just run and show you this logic over here, so it's going to give me which error over here? Okay, indentation error I got over here, sorry. So if we run this, we are going to get index error. Why? Because it's out of range. Now if you are not handling the error, okay, I am not handling this index error over here, so this error, so any error other than value error and name error will go in except block over here. So if we run this, if I enter first data as 12, second data as 2, so it went over there, but in this case over here it got an error over here. You can see it's showing an error, sorry, this is below. Okay, so we got an error over here, and the name of error was index error. As we are writing a try block over here, I'll just remove this so that we'll not have any confusion. Okay, so now again if I run and show you, so this is my first number, this is my second number, and you can saw on screen we have got this message called what? Error. Why we are into this block except last except block? Because over here index error has been generated. Index error has been generated, and here index error has been generated. Here index error has been generated, and because of that it went inside this except block over here and it has given us this message. So exception handling basically means what? You are thinking of all the possible errors that might occur at runtime and you are trying to handle it. Okay, and if you see now the program has not crashed abnormally over here. Wherever the error occurs, from that we can say from that point it goes to the except block, and after that if we have written any code it will execute successfully. So if I have written over here for I in something, I write over here, suppose I give something 1, 2, 3, and just I say over here colon, and I print over here I. Okay, so if we run this, so after printing the error it has gone and executed this logic whatever we have written. So that means we are handling the exception, and after the exception is being handled it goes over there and print it. Now along with except we have one more thing over here is called as else block. Okay, so we have a else block over here. Now else is a block which is executed if there is no error. Okay, so when is else block executed? When there is no error generated in this which block? Try block. Then only it will go to this block over here. So just I print no exception occurred. No exception occurred over here. So except is else is a block which is executed when there is no exception there is no exception inside your try block. Now actually we have written over here, so we are indexing over here, so it has not, so see it has not gone over here. Why? Because here I am trying to give you the get me a index number, wrong index number I am giving over here. So now if I write 2 instead of 3 I am writing 2. Now we have 2 position, 2 index we have over here in this list. So now there will be no error. So you see if I enter right data, the divisor operator also I enter 2. So there is no error generated, and as there is no generated error it will go in your else block. So if you want this part of code, any code which you want ki if there is no error this logic should get executed, that we can write in your else block over here. Okay, so the statement says basically what does it means is if there is no error it will go inside which block? Else block. So till now what we have seen is any code which you feel might throw error that you are going to enclose in try block. A try block will always have a except block to catch the error. Except is you can have multiple except blocks over here. Okay, so here we have handle value error, name error. Leaving this, if there is any other error that will go to except block. Else is a block which is executed only if there is no error in your try block. If there is single exception, see if I just run again and show you. So if there is an exception, some exception we purposefully do over here 12 and I write over here 0. Now their error has occurred because when you try to divide 12 by 0, an exception has occurred, and the name of exception is what? 0 divided by 0 error, 0 division error. So that has occurred, so it has stopped over here itself, and from here it has directly gone inside which block over here? This block. Okay, error it has printed, and after that it has gone over here. So this else block is not executed. Why? Because an exception has occurred. Okay, now the last thing which we have relating to exception handling is a finally block. Now finally is a block which is executed irrespective of error. Suppose I am trying to open a file. So in Python, if you want to create a file or open a file, we have a command called, suppose I write f is equal to open, and I say open, and suppose I write over here is the name of file. Suppose I write a.txt. Okay, here I can write, or suppose I create it in d colon. So d:// a.txt I'm trying to create over here, and this file I'm trying to create in write mode. Okay, now due to some problem, if it is not able to create a file, or suppose I am opening this file in read mode. Now there is no file by name a.txt in my, see So in Python, we can have two types of file, text in anywhere actually. File is basically required. Why we have files? So whatever we create, data we have over here in dictionary, in list, or in tuple, or in wherever, this is a temporary. So if you want to store your data permanently, either you can store it in your file system or you can go for database. So if you want to store the data in file, it can be either in textual form or binary form. So binary is basically where you want to binary, like suppose pictures, or we have songs, or these data is always in the form of binary. And text file is basically we have characters inside that. So now by default, if you don't specify anything over here, this file will be created in text mode over here. And if I write over here f.write, let's check first over here f.write, and if I write over here hello everyone, okay, everyone. So let's run this. It's in reading mode actually I'm doing, sorry, my mistake, writing mode I'll create it. Okay, so here we are creating a file over here. So what has happened? Okay, I have not created else block. So if any error occurs over here, so we'll write over here except, okay, except error occurred. So we'll just print error. And now what we are going to do over here is in finally block, the file which we have opened, we are going to close it. So f.close over here, that's the use of finally. Finally is basically used to the resources which we have opened, we need to close the resources. So that thing we do in finally block. And finally is a block which gets executed even if there is a error or even there is no error over here. Suppose I write over here in finally now, okay, actually this file will be created now. Let's see. So if I run this, it's in finally. Let's check whether the file is there in d colon or not. So if I just minimize this and go to my d colon to check, so let's go over here. And now if we check over here in d colon, so let's go down below over here. So do we have a file a.txt? We have a file created over here, and you have hello.everyone. Now suppose we are opening a file over here. Suppose it has gone in finally block. Now suppose if you see over here, the code was executed successfully, and after that it has gone in the finally block and created over here. Now instead of a, suppose I write over here is, I just put a comment over here. Okay, what we'll do is we'll create one more file over here. F1 is equal to, I write open, and I write over here open, and I write over here open from d colon such a file which is not there over here. Suppose there is a file called b.txt. Now there is no file in my D drive called b.txt. So if I try to open this file in reading mode, now whenever you want to read a file, it should exist. Now this file is not existing over here, so definitely we are going to get error, file not found exception. First of all, see, if I would have done over here, I would have got an error over here. So if I would have done over here, let's check. So it has given file not found error. But now as I'm handling in try catch, it went to the except block, it printed over here file error, and then it went inside finally block also. Even so, what we can see over here is, so even there is an error or even there is no error, it will always go inside which block? Finally block. So finally is a block which is normally written for closing the resources which are open. Okay, so whichever resources we have open, that we write over here. So this is a block which is irrespective of the result of try and except block. This block will be executed always. Okay, so this block is executed always. Now so now what we can do over here, okay, now one more thing is, whenever we open a file, by default in writing mode, it is always overwritten. Means see, if I write over here hello everyone, and again if I write over here welcome, suppose I write over here, so if you see the previous contents will be lost over here. Suppose I just comment out this file is not there in existence, so it is giving us error. Suppose I just remove this statement over here. So if I run this, okay, if I run this, okay, and if we go and check the file over here, this file will definitely have what over here is, this file is going to have only what, let's open the file over here is so if you open this file, what you will see is welcome. So the previous data which we had, it's lost. So if you want, we can open a file in which mode over here? Append mode. So if you want to open a file in append mode, we specify over here A means we are opening the file for writing, but append means what? Whatever is the previous contents. So if I have written welcome, now it's welcome. Now after welcome I say Python online session, suppose I say Python session, suppose I say over here, and I rerun this code. Now already there was welcome, and now if I rerun, and now if we go and check the file over here, okay, so we'll go to drive and check the file over here. So if you check, welcome Python session is there. Okay, so you can open your file in read mode, write mode, or append mode according to your logic. Whenever we are opening a file in write mode, if the file is already present, so if you write A means it will append at the end, W means it will open, it will overwrite always, and R means we are opening it in reading mode. So this is this is the way you can create files in your file system. And whenever you create a file system, every resource which we open should be closed. For that we use which block over here is finally block. So along in exception handling, we have try, we have except, we have else, and we have finally. Now try is a block in which we put the code which might throw error, okay, which you feel might throw an error. Except is a block which is executed only when there is a error. If there is some error, then only it will go over here. Finally is a block which will be executed always irrespective of error. Error it won't come. This block will always be executed. And similarly, we also have seen one more block called else block. This block is executed only if there is no error. So then only it will. So if you want some code, if there is no error, this should get executed. That you can put inside which block? Else block. Okay, so this is about exception handling. So what I'll do is I'll just save this first. And now one more thing I want to show you is how to create modules. What are modules basically? Okay, so what are modules? Module is nothing but it's just a py file. Okay, it's just a py file. So in Python, the way Java's file has got extension .java, we can say C has got .c, Java has got C++ has got CPP. Similarly, a Python file will have an extension of py. Okay, and now, so what is module? Module is nothing but a module is we can say it consists of classes. You can have functions, you can have variables. Okay, so all this thing together you put, and then you give this file as name what? Py. Now how to create a module? So in Jupyter Notebook, if you want to create a module, what I'll do is we'll just go over here and say new. Now we are not going to create Python 3, we are going to create a text file over here. So suppose I say text file, and here we write a function. Now suppose def, suppose I write a function over here def sum, sum is already there, a function. Suppose I write over here what? Square I write over here, SQUARE, and I pass a number over here. It is going to take in this, and now what we'll do is I'll just have indentation over here 1 2 3 4, and just I'm going to print the square over here. So square is equal to, and then we can just print the square over here. So a into a. So we'll just print the square over here this way. And now what we'll do over here is one more time, suppose, so this is my now this is what, so in this, what we say, this is my py file over here. So I can have a dict also over here. Suppose I create a dict over here this way, nm colon, and then what I write over here is, suppose over here I write over here is Deepa, and then suppose I just complete, and I write over here suppose age, and then I complete, and then again I write over here is suppose 25, and I complete this dict. Now this is my what over here, this is my suppose I want to create this as dict file. I will save it first of all. Suppose I say over here is what? Demo of module. Suppose I say, or some name I give over here. Okay, demo module I say over here. Suppose demo module 1, and I'll give the extension as what? Py over here. Now this is the module which is created over here. Now in this module I have defined one dictionary over here, and this is a function. Now I need to execute this function. So whenever I execute this module, I will write over here is square. Okay, and I'll pass some value over here. Suppose I pass over here is 10. So if I run this now, how to run this is, so we are going to go on Anaconda prompt over here. So we just say over here is Anaconda prompt we have over here, and over here what we are going to do is we are just going to type. Now what we are going to type over here is, so let's see, it will wait over here. So till then it gets open. I'll write a class also over here. Suppose I write class, and suppose I write over here stud or something over here, and I define a variable over here, method over here is def underscore init. So you can have, see, inside a module is nothing but a py file. Inside this you can have functions, you can have class you can have over here. So suppose this is my first argument and I write over here is role, and I write over here is nm and something like that over here, colon, and then I write over here is self dot. So I'm creating a class over here. So self dot roll number, I write over here this way, is equal to roll, and we put over here the next is self dot nm is equal to nm, and this I can say print, and I'm in this in init array say over here. So you can write functions also like this. Okay, so this is my what I have done. So we'll just save this and let's see now whether Anaconda prompt has opened or not. No, it's not open. So just I'll do it again. So what I'll do is I'll just start it again. So if I go over here, okay, so we have over here is Anaconda navigator down below, and we have over here is Anaconda prompt. So it has started now. So we'll just write over here the name of Python. So we'll write over here Python, and the name over here is what, demo module 1, D capital M capital. So DEMOMODULE1.py. So if you write, you can see it has given us the square, because that's the thing we have written over here. So whenever Python interpreter will interpret this file, so it will create one dict over here. It will see this square function is there. It will see inside this py file we have this stud. But after that I have not created an object of stud this class. So I've just called this square function. So we have defined this function, and here we are calling the function. So this is my py file. Now if I want to create object over here, or just I write print suppose I just write over here print, suppose something I write over here. So what I write over here is print, and in suppose I write over here welcome or something I write over here. And now suppose I want to create an object, we can also create an object over here. How we create an object? So just I'll write obj or ob, whatever you want, is equal to, and the name of the class, that is stud, and this is taking in argument two things. One is the id, and the second name is the name of the student. So this is the thing we can do. So whenever we create an object, this init method is called over here. So this will get executed, and now this on screen you will have over here. So control save, go on your Anaconda prompt and just run this again. So this is what we can say. So this is what we say is module. So module is nothing but it is a, we can say it consists of functions, classes, variables, all these things put together inside one block is called as what, module. So the py file which we create in Python over here is called as what, module. Now suppose I create one more module over here. Okay, so I just create one more module over here, new, and suppose I say text file, and this is my module 2. So I just rename this to what, demo underscore I say module 2.py. okay, so this is my module 2 file. And now sometimes, see, if I just write over here print hi in module 2, so that's the thing that will get printed, module 2. So simply if I write this thing, and if I go and run over here, so instead of module 2, what I'll say over here is module 2. So simply, okay, why it can't open, something wrong I have written. Okay, it's underscore I have written over here. So we have an underscore I have kept over here. Or what I'll do is I'll just change over here. In the name, I'll just, because both names I need to keep it same. Okay, actually it doesn't make any difference, but then also. Okay, so let's run it now. And if you see now, okay, hi in module. So what mistake I have made over here is I have not closed the double quotes. Okay, so that's what we can say over here. So the second module has got imported over here, executed, sorry. Now what we want to do is I want to use the function which I have written over here, this square function which I have written in module 1, or this file, py file I have written. I want to make use of that. That's what we write functions for, reusability. So you can use it. To use it, we have to write the statement over here is import, and import what, the name of the module. So I'll just write over here is demo module 1. Okay, so demo module module 1. And now what we can do over here is we can call that square function over here, suppose square, and we pass the value over here is 12. So we are trying to find square of 12. So if we run this, Okay, so now let us run and check. So what we can see over here is, first of all, it's giving error. Why? Because whenever you're using a function, you have to precede over here the name demo, the name of the module you're using this function from this way, and then the name of function over here this way. So if I save this and now if I run this, so you will see this. Okay, this is module 2, so it got executed over here. We are seeing welcome and square 100 over here. Why this is coming, we'll just see. And then you can see module 2, hide module 2 and this thing. Now when you import a module, the things which we have written over here down below, this also got executed, and because of that we are able to see in the, when we are executing module 2, the things, statements which we have written for execution in module 1, that are also getting executed. Okay, now suppose we want that things should not, and one more thing, so before every time I don't want to write this demo module, there's such a big name, so you can give an alias over here. So if I write over here DM, and now instead of writing the whole name, this is an alias. Alias means a name which we have given. Instead of using this, if I use this, and if we run over here, so you will see this will run now perfectly fine. Okay, so we can give an alias name to our module which we are importing. But now what is happening is, if we see the output, we can see it is printing all the statements which are written in module 1 also, but we just wanted to call the function and we didn't want this statement should execute. So if this is the thing, what we can do over here is, see, now if I show you, if I just print over here, print, and if I write over here, inside Python we have got one variable over here, that is magic variable, we can say, of underscore underscore name. Now this is my underscore underscore name, and just I'll print over here is underscore underscore name underscore underscore completed, and put a comma over here. Okay, so now let's run this and check. So if I run my module 1, okay, if I run my module 1, you can see I'm running module 1. Okay, if I run module 1 and if I hit over here, you can see the name of the underscore underscore name variable is storing what as the name as over here as main. Okay, so this underscore underscore name underscore underscore, this is the variable which is thinking that this is my main module over here which is getting executed. So the name it gives to your module is what? Main. So the way we can say, like in Java, the flow, whenever you run any program, always main is the method which gets executed. Similarly, whenever you run a Python program, if this is the module, this is my main module which is getting executed, so the main module will have name what? Underscore underscore main. But if I execute module 2 now over here, now which is the main module over here, which module is getting executed over here, which module we are trying to execute, which py file we are trying to execute? Module 2. So now module 2 will have the name underscore underscore main, and module 1 will have the name of the module itself. So if I run this and I show you over here, so now these are the statements which are getting executed of which class? Module 1. And you can see now over here, the name over here is what? Demo module 1. So if you run this file as the main file, so if you execute demo module 1.py file, so the underscore underscore name variable will have the value as what? Main. But if you are executing some other module, that is module 2, now module 2 inside module 1 also we have underscore underscore name, and inside this also we have underscore underscore name, both we have. So if I just show you over here, see what we'll do is, in module 2 also we will print this statement, so we'll come to know. Okay, just same thing I will print over here also, down below. After the square is printed, we will print over here. Okay, just I'll put over here star star, so that we'll come to know. Okay, now if I show you over here, see I'm running which module now? 2. So the module which I am running will have the underscore underscore name of that will have the name as what? Main. So if you see, this is the module which is getting imported in module 2. Module 2 में ये module import हो रहा है. So the name of this, the underscore underscore name variable in your module 1 will have the name of module over here, and the star, see if you see over here, name variable in your module 2 has got name over here as what? Main. So what we are trying to say over here is, so whichever is the module which is getting executed currently, that module will have the name as what? Main. that module will have name as what? Main. That's what we can see, underscore underscore main. So now what we will do is to solve this problem, that when I am importing a module, I don't want these statements to be executed. So what we can do over here is we can write if underscore underscore name underscore underscore equal to, and in single quotes or double quotes, underscore underscore main underscore underscore, and then we'll complete over here a colon, and then what we'll put over here is, so we'll have accordingly space, so 1 2 3 4, and accordingly we'll shift this also. Sorry, why it's giving me error? So if I save this, so what I'm trying to say is, see, if this demo, if I run demo module.py file, python demo module.py file, so this is the file which is getting executed. So this underscore underscore name underscore will have the value as what? This is the main function, so it will have main, and as this is the main, these things will be printed. But when you import a module, over here, sorry, my mistake, when you import a module over here, now when you import a module, so this module will have the name as what? Main. So because of that, this condition will become false over here, and these things won't get executed. What I want to show is, see, previously what we were seeing is when I run module 2, module 1 statements were also getting executed, welcome and all these things. But now if I run this over here, what you will see is only this thing which is demo module 1. What is this demo? Okay, I've just printed it outside, so it got executed. We'll remove that statement over here. So this line which I have written before, if I just remove this so that this won't be there, Control S, and now we run this. So you will see hi in module 2, only its second module got executed, and the square method we have imported over here, the method of that module we have used over here, and now module 2 has got name what over here is main. So if whenever you import a module, we want that this lines should be executed only when this is the main module, so you can put it inside if block over here. Similarly, there is another way of importing the module. So instead of writing this, we can also write over here is from module. The name of module is what now? Demo module module MODULE1, and then we write over here the word import, and now you can import any specified so if we want to import only square function, so we can write the name of first square function over here. So what we are telling, so this is the other way we can import. So we are importing this function inside our namespace. So from demo module, so we write the word keyword from this module, what we want to import? Square means we are just importing square function over here. So now in this case we need not specify DM over here. So if I run this and show you, okay, so this will also execute perfectly fine. And now if I want to create object also, so I'll just write the name of class also over here, stud. So if I try to create object over here, ob is equal to, I write over here stud, and I write over here is suppose 1 comma and some name over here is suppose I write Priya, and I complete over here the double quotes. And now let's see over here. So if I just execute, so I have now imported both the things. So you can see it has gone inside the init method, because I have written, so whenever you create an object, the init method gets executed, and that's what we can see over here. And now if instead of writing this, we can also specify star means I want to import everything. Okay, so this is also what we can do over here. So it's your choice, you want to import the module in this way, or you want to import a module using this from. So from module import square, so you are specifically importing square and stud over here, and when you import like this, these things are getting imported in your namespace, so there is no need to put over here anything. Directly you can use the specific function or object over here. Okay, so these are the things which we can do over here if using import. How to import a module we have learned. So module is basically nothing but it is it consists of classes. So inside a module is nothing but it's a py file in which we can write our classes, functions, you can have variables, and the module, if you want to import the module in another module, so what we can make use of is import the module name, or the other way is using the from clause. Okay, so what we have done today, what all things we have studied in this session is, first we have seen is what is comprehension, list comprehension. So it's another effective way of creating a list this way, list comprehension, dict comprehension. And then what is exception handling, how to handle exception, why we handle an exception, because it does abnormal termination. So if you don't handle an exception, it is going to abnormally terminate your program. So if you want your program should the program should not get terminated abnormally, so you can handle the exception using try and except. Okay, so try is where we put our code which might throw error. Except is going to handle that error. Except is basically going to handle the error over here. It's like a catch block. Else will execute only when there is no error. And finally is the block which is executed irrespective of what? Irrespective of error. Then we also have seen how to create a module. Module is nothing but a py file. Inside a module you can have functions, you can have dict type of object, you can create classes, and the module which we create, what all things we have written over here, if we want to use this function in another module, so you can import the module using import statement or using this from clause. This way also we can import the module over here. Okay, so this is what things we have studied in today's session. So hope you have understood everything. Thank you friends, thanks a lot. Okay, so I'll stop over here. Thanks.